Oh, this is a very serious matter, ladies and gentlemen, and NDTV is putting the spotlight on this. Hopefully that no other student will have to go through the ordeal that Chaitanya went through. My colleague Uma Sudhir and Shreya continues to be with us. Shreya is at the police station where this case has been registered. Uma is just giving us perspective largely on this story as well. Shreya, let me come to you first to get a sense of the ground. You spoke to the parents. Distraught parents. In fact, I was reading, and she was the only child who they were able to, in fact, send for higher studies. Her siblings were not that fortunate, and now to deal with this kind of an ordeal.
Well, absolutely, Ankit. The parents are utterly overwhelmed with grief, and they were telling us how they belong to a very humble background in Kottayam. They're a native of Kottayam, and she's survived by her younger brother, and she was studying nursing. And this kind of an unfortunate incident took place. And right now, we are trying to understand the case better as to how the investigation is heading at. And we spoke to the deputy superintendent of Hosdurg police station, where we are right now. We spoke to him, and he said that the investigation is underway. They have taken the oral testimonies of the parents, relatives, teachers. Some are yet to be taken, the verbal testimonies, and once they get the concrete evidence for abatement of suicide, then the police will act accordingly. But for now, the case has been registered under unnatural death, but the investigation is still ongoing. The main demand of the parents, especially the mother who is mourning right now, her only demand is that the warden, Mr. Rajani, the warden, should be arrested. He has been booked right now under the charges of intimidation and wrongful restraint. And let me tell you where we are right now. He lives in this very area in 5 to 6 kilometers radius. This is where he lives. We'll try and see if we can speak to him as well. The mother was of course distraught, and she kept saying that she wants to question the warden as to why he did what he did. As per the allegations, as you heard, Chaitanya, she was a soft-spoken, sensitive person, as that's what her family members were telling us. She was a sensitive person, and she was allegedly targeted by Rajani after she came back home, came back to the hostel late at night one day. We are talking about last year in the month of December. That is when things got worse, and as per the allegations of friends and the family, it was the warden who pushed her and pressurized her, and that is when she attempted suicide in that very hospital. She was a third-year student, merely 20 years of age, and when she attempted suicide, we saw widespread protest there. All the student organizations, SFI, ABVP, they protested that in these private nursing institutes,
Right.
these strict rules need to be questioned. And at this point in time, we are trying to understand how this investigation will proceed.
Okay.
Will the institution take any accountability? The institution has in fact suspended Rajani, but
Yes.
but does the story end there or
Okay.
not? We are trying to chase
Yes.
the institution authorities as well.
Uma, let me bring you in because it is also generating a lot of political heat. People are asking for systematic change, just not, a warden being punished. Of course, people are asking for charges to be upgraded as far as this warden is concerned. But as Shreya was also pointing out, will there be accountability fixed on the part of the institution as well?
Ankit, three things that we must look at here. The parents or the family of the victim, Chaitanya, have also said that she was a soft-spoken person, someone who was very, very sensitive, and therefore it does does point our attention or focus to the fact that she may have required counseling and support and help as well. And in a country where we are looking at youngsters going out into the world and getting education, whether it's a girl or a boy moving from a rural background, from their own home to these hostels, they require that kind of a support structure, and very clearly that was not present in this particular case. Second is the alleged wrongdoing on the part of the warden Rajni, and we have seen in the protest that happened 3 months ago in the month of December that other students also alleged that they had also been subjected to similar kind of a harassment, as they called it, against the warden itself. But what I want to point out is that hundreds of hostels we talk about, where we saw in Coimbatore itself the kind of a torture that one of the students was subjected to by another student. what kind of people are manning or being appointed to these kind of posts where they're supposed to be caretakers, not just of the hostel and the facilities, but also in a sense of the mental health of these people, and what kind of counseling is available. What I understand from my sources is that in this particular case, there is not really any substantive evidence to suggest that Rajni should be blamed, or yes, the fingers are being pointed at her, saying that she may have been a trigger point. But obviously, people are pointing out that people who are appointed, the person who's appointed to be in charge of a hostel, or even in a college, the management, the person who's supposed to look after students' welfare, whether their own mental health is of such a nature or state, was that tested before they were appointed to a place, and whether there is any kind of an institutional mechanism where you can address these kind of issues. Because very clearly, not just Chaitanya, but other students also seem to be having some problem with the manner in which the warden has handled this issue. But there seems to be no mechanism through which they could have approached the authorities and pointed out that we are feeling harassed and we require help on these issues, and how is that to be accounted for. That is something that perhaps all hostels and institutions that are looking after young people will have to put in some kind of institutional
Okay.
mechanism where they can address the issues, and that has to be someone who is not actually in charge of ensuring that the students get the best of facilities, or are ensured
Yes.
to be comfortable. There has to be an outside mechanism which is able to address these kind of structural issues.
Thank you for joining us with all those details.